There's been a lot of people lately trying to make their own comic books because the Marvel and DC's are just been gone to, other garbage, as we all know. Uh, I probably haven't read a comic from Marvel and DC, like recent comic, like very new comic, probably, I don't know how long. It's been a couple of years. I just collect the old ones now that I missed on. But now we gotten to the point of, like I said before, everybody's making their own comic books and everything now. And even some of the Hollywood people have done it so far. Game of Thrones, Emilia Clarke has made her own comic book. And I heard about this a couple weeks ago. And it was brought to my attention again recently. And people who know me, people who know me that I had a crush on Emilia Clarke a couple years back. But this comic book is painful. Let me go through it right quick. All I gotta say is at least she tried a little bit. But let's see, it's reading this out of Variety. I'm just messing up my words today. But anyway, Emilia Clarke's debut comic book follows a single mom whose secret weapon. I'm sorry. Just reading that title. Let me try it again. Let me say this again. Emilia Clarke's debut comic book follows a single mom whose secret weapon is her period.
What? What the fuck?
Man. Woo. So I'm guessing, I'm not going to go too much into the article. I'm going to paraphrase some of what the article says. She grew up in London, right? And I think this is probably happened in the UK and probably America. They say, she's basically said that comic books was pretty much no girls allowed. Now, growing up in the 90s and everything, from myself, most girls weren't interested in comic books. They really weren't. And if they was, it wasn't like somebody say, nah, y'all can't be here. No girls allowed. Money is money. People gonna buy stuff from people no matter what their gender is. So we already know that's a freaking victimhood right there as itself. But it is true, not that many people, not that many or girls around that age are going to look at comic books. They into other stuff. And if they are, they're not going to be shunned. So that was her first mistake going with that route. Yada 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 with the whole Emmy nominee. Yeah, let pop culture juggernaut Game of Thrones. I guess her bigger brother was a comic book fan. And I guess she read a lot of fantasy novels, rich in worlds, as you know, probably like the Lord of the Rings and Chronicles of Narnia, that sort of thing, which is fine. I know some girls probably read some of that. And I guess going a little bit of this article, I guess she read a lot of fantasy novels, which were rich as, I can't even talk right now, full of rich worlds as a child, like the Lord of the Rings. Like I said, that was always to her place of imagination that she would gravitate to. And later on, when she went to Comic-Con for the first time at age 22 with the Game of Thrones, she was amazed at what she saw, and almost entirely men. Word to not just Emilia Clarke, but a lot of people out there. Yeah, comic books. Things like comic books, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, even Godzilla. I got a poster sitting in the corner over there. That kind of stuff. Men like that stuff. Nerdy men like that stuff. But she says later, as the tides turned in the industry, as the whole Me Too emerged, she began to look at the community with those eyes, and it was arresting, she said. British talk. Clarke stated dreaming about what a comic book might look from her perspective, a notion that quickly gained steam. She recruited an all-female comic book creative team and made the comic featuring what was undoubtedly the most progressive females in that genre. That was another mistake right there. Trying to get an all-female creative team. Especially in these days when they're not really making comic books just for the sake of making comic books in terms of the superhero type thing. They're not dealing with good versus evil. It's a whole bunch of victimhood and a whole bunch of BS like I'm about to read now. That was her first mistake that made it dead on arrival. And so on. The name of her comic book is MOM, Mother of Madness, was published in July from Image Comic Books, co-written by her and some other people. She didn't do the art. She said during her research, she found 60% of comic book readers are female. Once again, comic books are a men's type thing or the male type thing. According to a 2019 study, only 30% of comic book creators are women. I wonder why. On the other hand, roughly half of comic book buyers are female. Someone did not sit right here in exchange, and all the signs were telling me to go make her own. Now, I do give her this. She went out there and made her own. At least she tried. I will say this. At least she tried. But let's say I can't even think of the word I want to use right now. The attempt failed. It will fail. So basically, the plot of this whole comic book is centered around Maya, a busy single parent whose life is upended by the discovery of her superpower. That's another thing. That's another thing that's wrong with this modern generation these days. A busy single parent, mother. Why we all go down that route? She's a single mom that got her stuff done. This was born from the idea that single mothers are superheroes. You need superhuman strength to do what? That when you get your... What about the... No, I ain't gonna go there. We're gonna talk about that at a different time. When you get into your 30s and your friends start having kids, you're like, oh my God, I was not aware that it took that much. The key identifier for her character is that all her powers manifest from menstrual cycle. I'm not going to go into the rest of that. All I got to say is, at least she tried. That's all I got to say. At least she tried at this. I do give her that. I will give her class for that. But the content in the execution, that was the word I'm looking for. The content in the execution, it just sounds so terrible. It's so bad. I'm just like, I know people have probably said this, probably other people that's covered it. I know some other YouTubers have covered it. I do give it, like I said, I'm going to repeat myself one more time. I do give her that at least she tried, and at least she didn't try to attach herself to another famous comic book character like Batman or Captain America or Superman, Spider-Man, whoever. But I know she's trying to be creative with this. I'm not trying to be biased because she once was a celebrity crush, but there's different ways to tell a story for a female character. There really is. And I think going that route, getting her powers from her period, it's the wrong way to go. And I think the whole audience is, of course, two females. But you gotta also think, some females know how to establish a female comic book character and know how it should go. The ones that know how it should go and how you develop a character are going to read that and look at it and keep looking at it like, is this for real? Is this real life? You can't make this crap up sometimes with this stuff. It's just like, wow. But the only thing I say is at least she tried. At least she didn't try to establish. At least she didn't try to basically Guppy or whatever attached herself to another famous comic book title. I do give her that. But with all that being said, I'm out of here. Oof, that was hard trying to read that. Like and subscribe. On to 200. I'm out of here.